In the heart of Lagos, where the skyline of Victoria Island glows gold at sunset and ambition moves as fast as the traffic on Third Mainland Bridge, Amara loved Tunde with a loyalty so pure it blinded her to the cracks forming beneath his designer smiles. She believed in love the same way she believed in hard work, fully, fearlessly, without hesitation. To her, love wasn't a game, it was an investment, and she invested everything. Before we go further into this story, take a second to like, share, and subscribe to support the channel, because stories like this deserve to be told, and someone out there might need this lesson today. Amara was the definition of modern African excellence, a sharp tech marketing executive building campaigns for global brands in Lagos's booming startup scene. She wore tailored Ankara blazers with confidence, led boardroom meetings with calm authority, and still made time for Sunday brunches and rooftop sunsets. She had built her life brick by brick. Tunde walked into it like a finishing touch. They met at a networking event in Lekki, crystal chandeliers overhead, soft Afrofusion music in the background, ambitious young professionals exchanging ideas and business cards. Tunde was charming, polished, and articulate. His beard was always perfectly trimmed, his suits impeccably fitted. He said, "I admire your independence." She said, "I admire your vision." Sparks flew. Numbers were exchanged and Lagos became their playground. Weeks turned into months. Beach days at Takwa Bay, late-night suya runs, matching outfits at upscale lounges, Instagram perfect moments. To everyone watching, they were that couple, the ambitious, stylish pair building an empire together. But as every city girl eventually learns, perfection online often hides chaos offline. The first crack appeared on a random Tuesday night. Tunde declined her call, texting that he was in a meeting. Hours later, his Instagram story showed flashing club lights in Abuja, champagne bottles popping, and laughter that didn't sound like business. When she asked him about it the next day, he laughed smoothly. "Don't you trust me?" he said, turning the spotlight onto her doubt instead of his lie. Have you ever ignored your intuition just to keep someone? Amara did. She convinced herself she was overthinking. Lagos was a busy city. Successful men traveled. Meetings happened at odd hours. She swallowed her discomfort because she loved him deeply. But love without boundaries becomes commission for disrespect. The lies multiplied quietly. Strange late-night notifications, disappearing weekends, financial emergencies that required her help because his investments were temporarily tied up. Being the supportive partner she believed herself to be, she stepped in more than once. After all, weren't they building a future together? Then one afternoon, truth arrived uninvited. A woman messaged her, calm, direct, and devastating. Screenshots, photos, flight confirmations. The other woman wasn't a rumor. She was real, Abuja real, and heartbreakingly unaware of Amara's existence. Tunde hadn't just lied, he had duplicated his promises. Amara expected to explode, to cry, to scream, but instead, something inside her went quiet, and that silence was more dangerous than anger. Instead of confronting him immediately, she started observing. She gathered evidence. She reevaluated her finances. She pulled back from funding his so-called business ideas. She redirected her energy towards herself, towards her promotion, her investments, her growth. While he juggled lies, she built leverage. Quiet women build the loudest storms. Months later, Tunde announced a major product launch for his startup. It was set to be glamorous, rooftop venue, influencers, investors, flashing cameras. Lagos's elite would attend. His reputation was currency, and he planned to multiply it that night. What he didn't know was that Amara had her own plan. She coordinated calmly with the other woman, who after the shock faded, chose dignity over drama. Two women who had been deceived decided not to fight each other, but to expose the source. At the launch party, the skyline shimmered behind LED screens. Tunde stood on stage, charismatic as ever, speaking about integrity and vision. The irony was almost poetic. Then the lights shifted. Amara stepped forward, not in rage, but in elegance. She requested the microphone with a composed smile. The room quieted. She didn't shout, she didn't insult him. She simply asked the organizers to display a short presentation. On the giant screen behind him, screenshots appeared, dates, messages, travel confirmations, identical love texts sent to 2 women. Gasps rippled through the crowd, phones lifted, whispers spread like wildfire. In Lagos, reputation travels faster than traffic, and once damaged, it rarely recovers untouched. Tunde's charm evaporated under truth's spotlight. He tried to speak, to laugh it off, to regain control, but receipts speak louder than excuses. Investors exchanged glances, influencers lowered their cameras. Integrity, once questioned publicly, rarely survives intact. Amara didn't stay for the aftermath. She walked off that rooftop with her head high, the city breeze catching her dress, the skyline glowing behind her. She hadn't shouted, she hadn't begged, she hadn't reduced herself. Her revenge was not destruction, it was revelation, and revelation is powerful. In the weeks that followed, she flourished. The promotion she had worked for finally came through. She expanded her investment portfolio. She traveled, not to chase anyone, but to celebrate herself. Meanwhile, Tunde struggled to repair a brand built on illusion. Here's the lesson. Love is beautiful, but self-respect is sacred. Trust your intuition. Red flags don't turn green with time. And revenge doesn't always mean chaos. Sometimes it means patience, strategy, and choosing yourself. Sometimes love teaches you softness. Sometimes betrayal teaches you strength. In the city that never sleeps, Amara chose herself, and that was the sweetest victory of all.